Hi, welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of RAMS Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of RAMS Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Awesome. Good morning. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Who's got some good news to share?
Well, all right. Let's not all rush to the gate, right?
Good job, Blake.
I'll share my good news is that yesterday I met. It was supposed to be over the weekend, but then we had rain. But I met with my land seller and had a great meeting with them, husband and wife, and we did not sign our listing agreement because we were standing on their farm, which is there's no house there. We're standing on the land, but I feel extremely confident that we will be getting that listing agreement signed in the next day or two. They don't live in town here, and they took it with them to go read. So that was great news. I feel very confident I'll be listing that land here shortly.
Congratulations, Blake. That's fantastic. Um, do you have any lessons for us for listing land, meeting these people, any situations that popped up you had to deal with, anything we can learn from?
Good question. I think it's the lessons that I take from at least from my meeting yesterday. Maybe I'll have more for you as we go, but the lessons I had from my meeting yesterday were just that the things I've learned here in our mastermind on RAMS were very helpful in that I was very curious and very questioning. It is just asking, a lot of questions, and it helped me understand a lot of their needs and their motivations and thoughts behind what was valuable, what was important, why they needed to sell, when they needed to sell. I could ask all those questions, but I think I got more depth and understanding by by just being curious and letting them kind of explain all the things as we went. It was a lot of fun too. I This is a farm that for the husband, it was a family farm that he'd been on that property for most of his life and maybe all of his life. But it was very neat to be able to walk the property with this landowner who knows it. I mean, he's done so much. He's planted acres of grapes, acres of blueberries, and muscadines. He's got, a vineyard there. He had a vision for having a winery. And anyway, life has taken it a little bit different for him, so he didn't ever do that. But still, it's just really cool to get those stories, and I think it'll all play into the sale of the property.
Well, that's good. So you're gonna maybe look for some of those stories that you learned in the marketing of the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you come up with on that. A couple other things. Affinity is very valuable to us. This is a farmer on this property, and I believe that you've been a farmer. Is that correct?
Correct. We were able to talk about a lot of common ground things. In fact, we talked about bush hogging a portion of his property, and if you don't know what bush hogging is, that's it's basically mowing in tall weeds and brush, and the bush hog is a brand name, but it's just referred to like Kleenex, it's or Xerox. It's the same thing.
That's an excellent example. Bush hogging, most of us city folks don't know what you're talking about. So, uh, That's that affinity part, right? You know exactly what the other person's thinking. You can connect with them. You speak the same language. It's so valuable for all of us to think about that. If you're trying to develop a niche, there's some affinity, something that you have a connection with other people. It can be in real estate, as this example, it was real estate. It could be outside of real estate. I give the example all the time. I'm a mountain biker. So if I talk to other people about mountain bikes, we'll connect and we'll talk for hours. Where somebody who doesn't understand mountain biking is like, I don't know what that is. Doesn't sound very good to me. They have no connection. So you're looking for that common ground and connection because as Blake knows, it's all relationship oriented, right? In the end, you were
Yeah.
trying to decide if you liked them and could work with them, and they were trying to decide if they like you and they could work with you. And this fella has this emotional attachment to the land. It's been in the family. He grew up on it. He's been putting his hands in that dirt for a long time. Uh, and that's something that's not numbers and facts and so forth about the property, what the acreage is and so forth. So I think you're right. I think it sounds like you got a good connection. But just be sure to follow up. You can, because you
Yes.
don't know how long this will take for him emotionally to get to the point where he's actually ready to move forward. Uh, so just keep touching base, depending on how quickly you think they're going to do something. Anywhere from every day to every week at this point. And you can just keep bringing up items like, hey, notice that the neighbor put their home on the market or sold, or you could just talk about bush hogging.
That's right. Well, there's several elements that's funny you bring that up because there's a number of things that well, I shouldn't say a number, but several things are going to need to happen on that property. And one of them is there's a lot of hay to be cut on several fields, and he's the guy who cuts the hay. That's all coming up, but the timing of that has everything to do with the weather and the time of year. We are now in May. It's May 6th, and usually the hay will be cut mid to late May. So that's all part of it. And so we were talking a lot about when his hay is going to be cut, because once that's cut, the fields will look incredible and they'll be great and ready for photographs. So that's an element right there that we already have in place. When we were talking about next steps, let's get this hay cut, let's get the photographs taken, aerial photos, we're going to do drone footage, all that stuff.
Another great example. I would have not thought, boy, you got to cut this hay now, and it's going to happen in the mid to late May, and that's going to create the best photos. I had
Yeah.
no clue. I would not have been able to be part of that conversation. I would have just been trying to learn and have a deer in the headlights, and you were right in the action with them. So, might have found yourself a niche there, Blake.
I know it's a lot of fun. I love farming and I've always loved land and buying and selling land. So yeah, maybe this will be something I can be a specialist at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Good luck on that. Can't wait to hear more. All right, who else has some good news they'd like to share?
Well, I have a lot going on, but I think the thing that comes out lately is I've been really working on getting social media posts out there. Uh, I didn't really do anything while I was on the cruise. I guess I could have scheduled it. I just didn't do that. And so I've been consistently posting and getting some really good um, people engaging and just liking stuff and trying to show that I'm out there working. I took a picture of, I went to the house for the photo shoot for my listing that's coming up this week. Shared that on my stories and Cinco de Mayo and shared pictures of my vacation. That got the most, engagement really, the vacation pictures. But it just goes to show, mix it, especially with Facebook, mix it in with personal stuff as well as professional things. But
And this is posting on your personal page or business page?
personal,
Mhm.
yeah.
And good. And so have you received a lot of business from your personal page?
I notice that when I have stopped posting for a little while and then I kind of get back in going again like I just did, I noticed certain people reaching out to me. And it might be because they are a business owner and they're following up because we talked about their business, but I see the connection of people seeing it and then reaching out to me for different reasons. And some of those reasons have been in the past. A lot of them have been about real estate. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not an expert at social media or social media posting. I know there are algorithms that dictate whether your post is going to get through or not, and who it's going to get through, and whether you got to boost it, and all these other little things. But with your comment there, it's kind of interesting. Uh, Typically, you hear social media, you should post every day and same time of day and over and over and over again. And what you just mentioned is that that may shopware the people that are on the other end. And it reminds me of an old productivity concept that they did a little test, um, where they basically took a bunch of workers in a room and they tracked their productivity over time, over months and months and months. And what they would do is every once in a while they would change an element in the room. And the element that they were changing was the light. They had a theory that if they kept brightening the light, productivity would go up. And what they discovered is that as they changed the productivity, each time they made the change, productivity did go up. But at some point, it was so bright in the room, it was very difficult to work. So they said, well, what if we decrease the light in the room? Will that reduce the productivity in the room? And so they dropped the light intensity in the room. And what happened to productivity? It went up. And what they discovered is that if you have these little changes over time, these little unexpected changes, it will change the productivity for the good. People, they think they're being watched. That's what it came down to when they start to interview people. Because they know something was different. Oh my gosh, somebody must be watching me, right? So they got really productive. But what I'm trying to say there is with you at your social media, it's possible that when you change how much you're broadcasting, how much you're posting, that may be causing more involvement and engagement. The fact that you're changing, so you may actually try or implement a strategy where you're posting for a week right away, and then you kind of pull back for a week, and then maybe you come back for a week, right? Where you're kind of shaking it up a little bit, and you may end up with more engagement. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that definitely uh, it probably does, make them think, oh, there's Angela. I haven't seen her in a little while, and maybe curious on what's going on. But for sure, there's a lot of things that you can do to get more views and engagement. But one of those is to engage on other people's posts and accounts and things like that. So when I was on the cruise, I didn't do anything really. I try to stay off social media, and then so I did a lot of engagement too this weekend.
Cool. Well, keep us updated on that. And you know me, I'm kind of bottom line. I'm trying not to be as bottom line, but the bottom line is, did you get the results you wanted? In this case, did you get business? Right? Did you get clients?
I was going to add one thing there, just in that conversation, Angela. I did see maybe you did a recap of your cruise, or there were some photos from looked like you were on a cruise. So I did see that. But one thing I have definitely keyed in on and realized with at least with Facebook, I don't know about the other platforms, but if you have a post that you have new people or people you haven't talked to in a while that engage with you at all, then the next post that you put up will be one that's likely to be shown to them. Because you can see this in reverse. As you know, Angela, you just interacted, right, with a number of people and engaged with them. And then you're going to start seeing their feed for a little while. or at least the next thing they put up, you're definitely it's gonna get sent to you. So that's I guess I have used it as a strategy. I make sure to put up a goat video, and then the next one I put up might be business intentionally, so that it shows up on some people that maybe just engaged because of the goats.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point and good strategy. Yeah, very helpful.
Cool. Cool. Um, for one other quick thought, you went on a vacation and you published the pictures and shared that with your group, your audience. Agents have struggled with that over the years to decide, do I share my vacations with my people or not? Because if maybe they think I'm not around, they're available to help them, or whatever the psychology is. Um, Interestingly, Joy Russell down in Louisiana kind of blows all that out of the water because she goes on vacations 6 months out of the year. Right? She basically goes every other week or every other 10 days, or just you add it up over the year, it's 6 months. Half the time she's gone. And then, but when she's there, she's very focused. She doesn't hide that. She shares it with all of her people. She's constantly promoting that out there, letting them know, yeah, I just went to all these different countries and all these different places. And so she attracts people who either travel themselves or want to travel, and they live vicariously through her, right? They believe they're going wherever she's going, and they want to hear all her stories about when she was in wherever. Okay, like Honduras popped in my mind for some reason, but she's been all over the world, and she just has these stories to share. I think I'm trying to remember how many countries she's been to, and one of her goals is to go to all the countries on the planet. But then she gets a favorite, she keeps going back. So I don't think she's made it yet. Anyway, like that's interesting, right? If you like traveling, you're like, well, wait a minute, tell me more about that. Where did she go? And you want to know all the different countries. Anyway, so that could be, remember, it's all about connection, it's all about relationship, and that's just another medium that can be successful for those kind of people that like to travel. All right, Tristan, give us some good news. Got any good news to share?
About production, right?
Yeah, this is our production call.
So I had a listing appointment a few weeks ago from a lady that I met door knocking, and then I didn't get the listing. But then she called me yesterday and she's like, "Hey, I saw you last week in the neighborhood and I was trying to get your attention, but you seem really focused, but I've been meaning to call you." And she was just calling and she's like, "I'm letting you know that we're gonna go with another agent." And I was like, I asked like why? And she's like, "Oh, like the commission amount and this and that." And then I was like, well, if it's the commission that's the main determining factor, like I would be willing to match that. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, let me call my husband. So she called her husband, then texted me back, and she's like, would you be able to sell his for the same amount? And I said, yeah, for sure. And then she's like, okay, give me a few days and I'll be in touch. So that was yesterday. So we'll see if she ends up reaching back out.
Wow. So is this potentially two listings?
Potentially, yeah.
And so by being in dialogue with the seller, you learned information and you were able to be flexible so that you could put yourself in the position of winning.
Yeah, because I did what you said, right? Like I called her, I emailed her, I texted her, I went knocked on her door again, and nothing, radio silence. And then I guess she seen me on the street last week or around the corner from her street, and maybe that reminded her. So yeah, she reached back out and let me know her decision. But then I asked, "Did you sign anything?" She said no. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Tristan, let's talk about that for a second. You just said, I reached out to her, door knocked her, I called her, I texted her, and she wasn't responding. So, I kind of thought nothing was going to happen. Wasn't working. And yet in the background, what is she seeing? She's seeing this guy who's being real aggressive, this guy who's being assertive, this guy who's following up, he's doing his job, right? Isn't that one of the comments I think you even made when she saw you on the street? She saw you on the street, right? And said that
Yeah,
she looked really busy and focused. What is in her
yeah,
mind? She's like, God, this guy is really going after, right? This guy is a pro.
mm,
This is a guy I want working for me, right? So all those little actions you were taking, although it looked like to you, you were hitting a dead end, To her, you're actually stacking up all these benefits in her mind about how good you are. That's something we got to remember when we're doing follow-up and we think we're overdoing it, right? Because we're not getting an immediate result. We think, oh, this is not working. Well, it was working. It was adding up all these pluses on your side of the column over that competitor. But for instance, over these last 2 weeks, again, her perspective, I don't know what happened. I'm just making a scenario, but I
Yeah.
know what you were doing. You were contacting. Your side of the equation is going up. I don't know what the other person was doing. The other person that they were interviewing, maybe they never were reaching out. And so theirs is going down and down and down while yours is going up and up and up. Does that make sense? The reason I'm bringing this all up again is because when you're getting into these situations, you don't get the perspective of the customer, the client. But this is a great example of the fact that it is beneficial. She thinks you're a workhorse. She thinks you're an animal, and you are. Other thing here is, I think you did a great job of what they call isolating the objection. You find out what is her hangup, what's the problem, what's the challenge, and you determined that it was commission. I'll give you something else to think about when you get in that position next time. The question that you want to ask is there anything else holding you up from working with me? Is there anything else that you're having a challenge with? You really want to get into that before you make the offer of the change in commission or change of anything. Okay, it often comes to commission, but it could be anything. You want to get to the point where you can say, hey, Tristan, if we could resolve the commission issue, would you hire me? Is there anything else holding you up? If we could resolve the X issue, would you hire me? That's your statement. I think your listing is too long. If we could resolve the time of the listing, would you hire me? Well, what do you mean? Is there anything else that's holding you back from hiring me today? Well, yeah, the other thing is, oh, great. Let's find out what the other thing is before we make an offer. Because see, if there's 2 or 3 things and you go and give her the answer to the one, but you didn't resolve the other 2, she's still in the hold pattern. She's not going to move forward. But if you ask and you can get her to say, oh yeah, if we can resolve the commission, I'd hire you today. You're like, great, let's talk about that. And then you find out if you can resolve the commission issue. And if you do, say, hey, let's get you going. The other thing that was really powerful about you getting into the conversation with her is it sounded to me like there are 2 pieces of business. She said listing her property, but then listing her husband's property. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you might be a little more comfortable making a deal because you're getting 2 pieces of business. And where are these people moving to? Do we have a 3rd piece of business out there, or maybe a 4th?
Yeah, her daughter's gonna need a place to rent, but they already bought a
Got
place.
3 pieces of business out there. Yeah. Now we're real. See, now you're. I'm calling it aggressive. Some people like that. Some people hate it. But your aggressive stance, you're constantly following up, is raising that bar for you, not on 1 piece of business, but on 3 that we are aware of. Yeah, keep going. Don't stop. I mean, what do you want to do? Turn around in a week, not get the business and go, man, I should have called another time.
Yeah,
It's too
you're
late.
right.
Right now, you're in the action. You got to get in there, got to keep going. Blake has got to follow up with the landowner, keep getting it out there and saying, hey, I was thinking about you for this. I was thinking about you for that. And by the way, I just thought this great angle for selling your property. We're going to use a story. What do you think about us using this story? Hey, I just found out about hedge hogging. Did I get that right? Hedge hogging or something like that. and I just saw this great machine that does it even faster. What do you think about it? You just connect. What do you think, Tristan?
Yeah, you're right, because sometimes like you kind of feel discouraged, like, okay, I texted her, nothing, email, I called her, she didn't call me back. You're feeling like, man, maybe I'm just bothering this lady, but you kind of feel like a bit of rejection, I guess, even when they don't pick up or message you back, like that feeling in your stomach that you get. But you're right. I would be upset if to find out she ended up going with someone else and I didn't call her, I didn't send her a text. So you gotta weigh the risk and the reward is definitely worth that rejection. So you're right, I do need to follow up and get in touch with her this week again.
Absolutely. And I know you will. You already have been, which, by the way, I commend you for already getting into this position. You found the lead and you continue to follow up with the lead. There's an old statement, the fortune is in the follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. It's alliteration and it's easy for us to remember. So the fortune is in the follow up, and the fortune is in the follow up. You know how many top agents have told me that over the years? When we get into it, they're like, "Yeah, the fortune is in the follow up." You're like, "Oh, all right, that's just some quippy little thing." But no, that's what it is. The fortune is in the follow up, right? A lot of people get leads and they don't do anything with them, right? The fortune is in the follow up. I'll give you one other visual I like to keep in my mind when you're getting in these kind of situations. It's a story, but I visualize it. And I don't remember where it came from, but again, it's in my head. It's this story about a miner who went out into his mine looking for gold, and he had his pick, and he went day after day after day, and he's picking away at the rock, and he's hitting the rocks, and the rocks are breaking off, and he's looking for the gold on the rock, and nothing. And he throws the rock, and he picks again, and he picks up the rock, no gold, and he throws it out. Keeps going day after day, week after week, month after month. He does this for 6 months, and he's just not finding any gold. And he's like, this mine, it's just nothing's here. And he goes outside, he puts a little for sale sign on the mine, and another miner comes along and says, tell me about the mine. Well, I've been picking away at this thing for 6 months. I can't find anything. Maybe you can find something. I don't know. And so he sells it really cheap to the second miner, right? Second miner goes in there, pick first day, nothing. Pick second day. What? Starts to see a little glint. Pick. A week later, hits one of the biggest veins of gold they ever found in that area. What's the moral of the story?
Keep going.
That poor guy that went for 6 months, he only had a couple more days to go. He would have hit the biggest vein ever, but he quit. If you do not contact this lady tomorrow and over the next week, what do you think is going to happen?
You might forget about me and hire that other dude.
She definitely will. Absolutely will. Because you just need a couple more of these. Helpful?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Evidently, you just need to keep showing up in her neighborhood, though, because she's not going to talk to you unless you're out in the yard.
Right. And don't be afraid to knock on her door. Absolutely. I'll wrap this up. One final thing. It comes all the way back to what I've been harping on the last couple of weeks or months. This is the time to be in front of your PCSOI. Don't be afraid to get out there and keep letting them know you're in the business. Keep letting them know you're in the business. This is a great example Tristan just brought up. You may think that these people will only hire you. They know other people, right? May be another agent out there on the peripheral, either a good, strong competitor or not. It doesn't matter. But there may be just someone who knocked on their door randomly, and now all of a sudden they're curious about who this person is. You need to be in front of your people as much as possible right now. You built up these relationships. Don't lose them because you lost interest in the process. All right. All right, good. So with that, let's move into production. And my question for you is this. Do y'all have any events planned for May? Any promotions planned for May? Are you doing anything to reach out to your people here in May?
I have one that I'm considering. So National Scavenger Hunt Day is in May towards the end of the month. And so we had kind of talked about that before. And I am thinking about maybe doing an online scavenger hunt and just making it fun instead of, so I'm trying to decide online or neighborhood because I am trying to be more active in my neighborhood. I send a postcard out to everybody in my neighborhood and going to be farming my neighborhood. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. But I also have a lot going on this month, and I have a big event in June coming up, so I don't want to spread myself too thin either.
It's a good question. That's a good point. I'll give you a couple quick thoughts here. One, scavenger hunt you might have two different, if you decide to go down this path, there's two different scavenger hunt options here. One is your neighborhood, and you're trying to basically do geographic farming, right? You're meeting those connections. The online one is very interesting because you can do that anywhere. And we all know that you, Angela, are in two different markets in two different states. So that kind of I would lean towards the online one because you can do it to all your people. And today we're talking about PCSOI in particular. But you could have two events, one online for your PCSOI and another for your neighborhood, as an example. But let's go to the final part, which is, hey, you've got this big giant event you're putting together in June. I actually think you should hang it with that and just do promotion through May. Like, is your event at the beginning of June, middle of June, end of June?
It's June 14th, and I have a lot of work to do on it. So I kind of agree. I don't want to be too distracting throughout this because I do want to be making sure that I share that event as much as possible.
And your event is a big physical event, right? It's in a park, bring a lot of people, big barbecue, or a lot of activity. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What I always pick on Blake. Ready, Blake? What is the power of an event?
The invitation.
Tristan beat you to it. That's right. It's the invitation. And so the power of Angela's event is not the event itself. The event will be great. She'll make great connections. It'll be a lot of fun. But the power, the leverage is not in the event. The leverage is in all the invitations. The business leverage is in the invitation. So if you invite 100 people to the event, but only 20 people show up, the 20 people show up, you'll have great connections with. But the 80 that didn't show up, you can still connect with them through all the invitations. And I'm telling you, when these top agents do these events, that is the reason they do the event. And they don't just do one invitation and then the event, right? To them, the event is secondary. It's important to them. They love the event. Don't get me wrong, but it's secondary business-wise. They want to go out and make as many invitations as possible. They'll do 3, 4, 5, 6 invitations leading up to the event. And the bigger the event, the more invitations, right? Because you may be asking for RSVPs and you may be letting people know, hey, we're almost to capacity. We're not quite there. And you're keeping them involved, you're getting them excited about this event. But most importantly, you're bringing your face and picture up to the top in their mind. Oh yeah, Angela's the real estate gal. Here, we want to reach out to her. I was just thinking about moving. We want them to be thinking that all through this very critical time in our cycle of our market. So Angela, I recommend you spend your time for the next 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is, reaching out once a week at least to these people, getting in front of them, say, hey, I've got this event coming up, super excited about the event. You're going to be coming to the event. Like, oh, I can't do that. It's too much. What did we just talk about with Tristan? You got to get in front of these people multiple times. They have millions of distractions. Radio, television, billboards, social media for sure, text messages. They got everything that's going to distract them. You've got to break through by getting in front of them as much as possible. And you got a fun thing to do. It's fun. This is going to be a great event. What do you think about that, Angela?
Well, I'm glad to have your feedback because I think the scavenger event idea sounds super fun, and I want to do everything, but you're right. This is a busy time of year, and I want to make sure that I promote the event to the best I can. So I do like the idea of just focusing on that.
Yeah, you could really leverage this. So if you do once a week invitations, that's six touches, six contacts, plus the event, that's 7. Plus you do the recap afterwards, that's 8. You're filling up almost an entire quarter, at least a couple months of activity there. Again, that's why the top agents started to do events more than just once a year, often quarterly, and some of them even do it monthly. But the ones that do it monthly, they usually have giant teams and they're trying to plug a lot of people into a lot of different things because they don't know who's going to do what. The ones that are more solo agent, they're typically doing it quarterly at this point. Uh, Mainly, again, because just if you visualize it, you're ramping up for several weeks, maybe a month, maybe a little over a month. You do the event, and then at the post, you can wrap it up, and you're covering that quarter. That quarter is 12 weeks. So, um, good job, Angela. Can't wait to hear how this event goes. What do you think about doing your reach outs once a week leading up to it? And by the way, you can do it a different format, right? Once as a mail, once as a phone call, once as a text, once as a social media post. You're kind of coming at them from different angles as well, because you don't know who's watching what.
Most definitely. So that is my goal is putting it in my email newsletter, mailing an invitation, uh, making an event on Facebook, and as well as just sending individual emails, calls. It's a great reason to be calling people. So definitely want to incorporate all of the different ways to communicate.
Angela, I missed it. Maybe I was dealing with a text here, but what is the event in June?
So Patty and I are hosting a barbecue in the park,
Oh yeah.
and they're locally next to where she lives and where a lot of my family actually. That's where my family is, and it's not too far from a lot of my clients. So even some of my clients that live further south, it's in Tulsa, everything is like a 20-30 minute drive pretty much. So we're going to host it there. They have a splash pad, and we're going to have somebody cooking hot dogs, and we're doing giveaways. So we've already got one person that has sponsored that's going to be doing a $50 gift card giveaway.
Very good. Yeah, I was just trying to think of visual ways to get that, be talking about it now, like we've been saying, talking about it now, getting the invitation out. I'm sure you have a lot of good ideas. I just was just trying to think of anything in that. I would just be trying to think of how you can visually represent that. Um, I don't know. Or
Well,
not Pinterest, but what Canva has plenty of good ideas. So
mhm. Oh yeah, so I can see like a little grill and playground and stuff like that, for sure. And I think with this event, I'll be able, because it is outside, I can open it up to a large group of people. I have over 900 people in my Facebook group. Oh, not my Facebook group, but our friends on Facebook. Of course, a lot of those people don't live in that area, but yeah, I can open it up to all of the people that live in that area that I'm friends with on Facebook. But I do want it to be people that I actually kind of know, I think, and that way I'll be able to spend quality time with them when they do arrive. But that's 300 people plus, so, and then Patty's people too. And then I'll probably open it up, and if Tabitha wants to invite her people, if uh, Brian wants to invite his people, then it'll be just like a big party.
That's awesome, Angela. That's cool. That's good stuff. I like how you're thinking about how to leverage it, not only for yourself, but also for your team members, for the people in your group. Um, in this case, your agent attraction group. That's awesome. Good job. Way to think that through. Uh, cool. Very nice. Um, I was trying to think of if there was a way to do it virtually, but there isn't in this example. You try to think of as many different ways to leverage. Are you going to get photos? Do you have a photographer, videographer, anybody who's going to document this thing so you can get that post event? Two reasons. Number one, the post event recap. And then three, the next reason is if you decide to do this event again, you have all the information, all the material to do marketing.
Yes, that's the great thing about once you do an event, it makes it so much easier. And Patty and I did a client appreciation event last fall. So I have that project management spreadsheet, and I'm going to just copy it. A lot of that stuff's going to be the same. Some of it will be different. As far as photographer, my mom is a photographer. So I will probably, she'll want to, probably socialize some too, but she can just be walking around taking photos and hanging out as well.
Cool. Good job. Let's do this. We're coming up towards the end. I want to make sure that we address anybody's burning desire, burning issues. If you have anything about production that you would like us in the group to talk about.
This is kind of out there, but I just thought I'd throw it out in case one of us is a dog and cat lover, really a dog lover, I guess. I think of. I have a listing that I expect to list at the beginning of July. One of the keys to this listing actually coming together is there are 2 dogs that live at this house that need to be rehomed. And they're not easy to rehome because they're 2 dogs that need to go together. They've got a medical condition. They got to get medicine every day and that kind of stuff. Any ideas of where the best ways? I'm trying to help the homeowner to rehome these dogs now, because as soon as we can get those dogs rehomed, then we can definitely get the wheels turning towards the listing. Any new, different, out of the ordinary ideas for how to recruit someone to take these dogs?
This is out of my depth, Blake.
Yeah, mine too. So
Angela knows or Tristan knows.
Well, I would definitely use social media.
okay.
And then if you were doing your goat event
Oh,
during time, I would say you could have them at the goat event because you'll see a lot of the pet adoption takes place in person too, at different
events like that. Yeah.
um but yeah, that's a thing. There's different organizations that you could reach out to, but I know that they probably have a lot of pets. But they might be able to assist with promoting it on social media and to their groups and their databases and things like that. Pause, and probably some local associations like near you that you could reach out to, get some ideas.
Okay. Thank you.
If there's a social media group that focuses on the breed of the dog, that's an interesting area to promote into. I say that because my wife, after decades, finally convinced me to let her get a dog, and she got a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And so she's part of these Chesapeake Bay Retriever sites. It's kind of a unique breed. And a few months back, she really started to push hard for us to take a second dog because somebody was in this kind of situation. They needed someone to take over I can't remember the particulars of why, but they needed someone to take over this dog. And she's telling me how cute the dog is. And look at the dog bounced in the water. And she's trying to get me to take on this second dog. And if I wasn't around, there would be a second dog in this house. I have no doubt. So that may be an angle to find the breed of that type of dog and those groups.
That's a
As we
great
go from
idea.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, just mentioning that, I totally understand how that could happen. We have my particular breed of goats. There is a, social or Facebook groups for that particular breed, and that's a great idea. The breed may be the key there.
I'll give you
Does
one
that
other.
mean somebody that's familiar with that breed and likes that breed and wants to work with that breed?
Yeah, these are the people that will wear the T-shirts with the breed of the dog on it, right? I mean, they're just gaga goo goo about that. And this particular breed had been in my wife's family for a long time, so she's got a long connection with it. Part of the family breeds these dogs, etc. Well, I'm just saying other people are probably similar. They get into a breed, they really like it, they continue. It may even be historical. That I'm just saying that they may have the most connection or affiliation with these types of animals. Um, the next thing that I'll throw out there is uh, Angela, for some reason, said something, but the tactile part of it.
Mm.
People like to pet the dog. I think she mentioned something about that, being around and petting the dog. Uh, just a wild idea. You could throw a pet adoption party, at their place or your farm, because I think Angela was mentioning having them at your farm. That was pretty smart. You could throw a pet adoption party somewhere where people can come and actually meet and pet the dogs, right? Because that's where they're going to connect the most. Come over and check out this dog needs a new home. Why don't you come out and check out the dog? Maybe you or a friend or a family member knows somebody who would like a dog.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
And see if you could use that if that's part of your identity, you could use that to leverage into your group for production. We're talking about events. This is an event idea.
It's it's a great idea. I don't see myself ever letting that become part of my identity though, because I'm like you. I would have another dog here if I wasn't pushing them back and saying, no, hold on, people.
But anybody listening who does have a huge connection with a pet,
Yeah, yeah.
especially a dog or a cat or a breed of those, even a niche, that is actually extremely powerful because in all the studies they've done, one of the most powerful things you can have in your ad is a pet because people connect to pets, right? It's usually kids and pets, right? These are things that people connect to. So something that if you did go along that line and you were up for it, maybe this was your joy, you could have your events of these adoption events. Something for anybody out there listening. Kind of, we just spun a new, interesting idea out there.
It's a great idea for an event and maybe tie it in with, I mean, we've got the animal shelter here in town, so I mean, it wouldn't be difficult, I don't think it would be difficult. It may be a lot more difficult than I realize, but it's a great idea. An adoption event would attract a lot of attention, and as you said, connect with a particular group.
Final
Yeah, and
thought there. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just that made me think and adding a fundraiser. So you could do it could be a fundraising event slash adoption and people love to participate in the fundraising and in a good cause. Even if I personally can't take on a dog in my house, I'm happy to go out and help and participate to raise funds and stuff.
What a great idea, Angela. Angela's rolling today. Let's plus this up. Just again for anybody listening, and I'm also saying because maybe it'll leverage you into another idea. You could do the adopt a pet fundraising event. Come meet the event, bring some cash, throw it into a bucket, and we will give this money to whoever adopts the pet to get them started. This will buy you dog food for a year or vet service for a year or something, right? So just again, that's the point. You get into an idea, you can start plussing it up, plussing it up, plussing it up, plussing it up. Um, all right, final thought on all this, and we'll wrap it up is, for niches, just make sure you're narrow and you pick one. All right. It's like Blake, we are just talking to you about early land. You want to go land? Cool. Go land though. Go land. Phew. Become the expert in land. Don't try to do 6 niches. It will never work. You need to pick one and become the expert. Your first niche should be what? What's the first niche?
PCSOI.
Say again, Tristan.
PCSOI.
That's exactly correct. The very first niche has to be PCSOI, and then you can add a second one, but that's it. You know, that's so you kind of got your niche for the inside, your inside business, and you got a niche for your outside business. You do any more than that, you're going to get distracted. It's going to crash. And if somehow you can combine the niches, your PCSOI and your outside business, now you're really golden because you're focusing all your energy and effort on the one idea. Okay. So like Blake's goats, right? That could go out to his PCSOI as a connection for him with the goats. And if you can use that with the land too, oh my gosh, now you're golden.
Yeah, that's actually what I was just thinking, that the goats tie in with both of those. Obviously, the PCSOI because they're cute and fun. And, hey, Blake invites us over to come pet them. That's all great. But you've got to have land if you're going to actually have goats. It doesn't work in a small subdivision with a, quarter-acre lot. That's not the way people are going to work it. So you've got to have land, even if it's just an acre or two. So that could be a very nice connection. Most of the people I sell goats to are landowners. Maybe small amounts of land, but they are landowners. So yeah.
Interwoven.
Yeah.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that coming together. Think about it. Think about
True.
it. How can you capitalize on that? Good. All right. So we've come to the end of our production call. Thank you so much for being here for that. Let's go through a quick huddle. Let's go through number one thing you did last business day to move your business forward. Number one thing you're going to do today to move your business forward. Who would like to start?
So yesterday, I met the photographer at the new upcoming listing. And like I said, I posted on social media and just photography day and upcoming listing type of things. Today, I am meeting somebody that I met at a networking event for coffee. Well, it's not going to be coffee. We don't drink coffee. It's going to be for crepes and tea. So it'll be like a high tea. But yeah, so meeting somebody new today.
That's fantastic. Good luck, Angela. Good job expanding your network. Hope that goes well. Good job posting and getting out there and connecting with more people. All right, who's next?
Angela, I'm like you. My family, we don't drink coffee. So people want to meet for coffee, I get hot cocoa. Yesterday, my meeting with my land seller, my listing meeting, would definitely be my most productive thing yesterday. And today, following up specifically on that, will be my number one thing.
Awesome. Awesome. Blake, I can't wait to hear how that land listing develops. It's pretty cool. Might be a whole new world of niches for you. And I assume as you research land for the price, you're learning a lot more about the industry, about that niche of the market. And it can be cool if you have an affinity for it. Again, people can tell if you do or don't like something. So that's pretty awesome. I will just say this. I'm really impressed that I used to think I was alone in that I don't drink coffee, right? I never drank coffee. And so somebody else, maybe we should become the no coughing group because somebody else in the coaching group doesn't drink coffee. I don't, and I'm like, really? And then you all just said, 2 of you just said you don't drink coffee. That's kind of blowing my mind. But anyway, wow. Oh, I thought I was alone. I should have joined the no coffee drinkers social media group or something. All right. Tristan, tell us your number one thing you did last business day, number one thing you're going to do today.
Number one thing yesterday was a final interview with an agent that I'm considering bringing on board. And number one thing for today is door knocking. That's it.
Hey, that's fantastic, Tristan. Good job. So you talked to someone that's going to be coming into your organization or thinking about coming in. Good job. I can't wait to see how that works out. Maybe we'll hear more on Thursday for our traction call. And then today you're doing more door knocks. What's your goal today on door knocking?
To surpass 100 doors.
Oh, such a small goal, just 100 doors. Good job. Good job for you, Tristan. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear good news. And by the way, I assume you're going to be driven to knock on even more doors since you just went on a listing appointment from a lady who you're still talking to about listing her property that came off of a door. Yes?
Yeah, 100%. I'm realizing any door could be a next listing coming up soon, and I definitely need more listings, you know. So yeah, I gotta get to it.
Good job, Tristan. Good job. Love it. All right, let's see. Yesterday, I got sidetracked quite a bit. So the most important thing I did was our huddle call as far as business. And then today, I'm going to be making some dials. I've been making dials. I missed yesterday because, again, family thing distracted me. But I had been making dials for 7 days in a row. And I'm going to capitalize on that today and do it again for the 8th day. And I'm calling up empty nesters. Very friendly people, very shockingly friendly and willing to talk and chat. They're willing to answer the phone and they're willing to chat. A great group to be contacting by phone. All right, everybody, have a fantastic and productive rest of your day. And we'll talk to you soon.
Have a
Be
great day.
productive.
Y'all are amazing.